Hello and welcome to our Shenmue the Animation After Show. This is episode 4, Shackles. I'm your host George, and with me is Barry.
Yo, bro.
Yo, what's up, bro? Hey, are you allowed to say bro? No, I'm joking.
Yes.
This episode is the 4th one of the animation, and it's actually a pretty interesting one because they took the whole story of the warehouse. They kind of condensed it really fast, you know. In the other one, it felt like the whole warehouse job was this, like, basically longer thing. It was like a lot of the second and some of the third disc, the tie-in with the Mad Angels. And this one, they did it more seamlessly, and they did it all in one episode, kind of all tying it in. So, what was your overall thoughts on this episode, and how does this rank on the last 3? You know?
I wouldn't say this was the best out of the last 3, but it definitely is up there for me. I liked seeing Ryo interact with a lot of the characters. I like to see, like we see in past episodes, the other characters like actually be characters. I also feel like because there's no branching dialogue system, you learn a lot more about characters a lot more quickly, which is really cool. But yeah, overall, I actually think this covered a lot of ground, and it featured one of my favorite characters from Shenmue, so of course I'm gonna like it.
Yeah, I liked it too. I thought it was pretty good. I think everyone's complaining is that, like, some of these events are going by too fast, and I kind of agree. But like, they only did a 13 episode series. Like, at first, when we first saw the announcement, I remember a lot of people were like, is there enough story for Shenmue to cover 13 episodes? And now I'm like, can we get a 22 episode first season on just the first game and, like, let these characters marinate and grow with each other? Like, that's how I feel, which is weird because I don't think a lot of people would have thought that when they first announced it for Crunchyroll. So,
Right.
Yeah. So let's talk about the start of the episode. We got a dream sequence. This dream sequence was this in the game? I felt like it was like a nightmare. Like, you know, if you don't beat the game in a certain time sequence. Yeah. And
It was like a premonition that Ryo has, and I think it actually is what happens in the bad ending.
Yeah, they showed Shenhua and Landy with the mirror, and she's getting attacked. Then he wakes up, and then it's the start of the episode. I thought it was interesting that they did this. Shenhua didn't get any episode, like, in her time, you know? Because the other ones all had some Shenmue 3 kind of stuff, but this one, nothing. So that was her only thing. Basically, in this episode, Ryu finds out he has to go to China. He finds out how much it costs to go to a trip, which basically means we have one of my favorite scenes in the game when Fukusan gives him the piggy bank. I don't know why, I really always liked this scene when I first played the game. I just thought it was like, Fukusan is such a nice guy, but like, the game really never focuses on that. Like, it's like he gives him his piggy bank with his little bit of money he has. And Fukusan is such a weird character because it's like, so he's not Ryu's brother, but he lives in his house and was raised by him, so he's like an adopted brother?
Yeah. I guess maybe he was like an orphan that was brought in for training. I don't really know. Maybe he does have a family, but he just commits himself fully to the Hazuki Dojo, and he'll probably be the one to carry on the dojo itself if Ryo never returns, you know?
Oh, yeah. And he does the upkeep and stuff, too. Oh yeah, we have more of Goro. We finally have him saying bro. We finally have him doing more of what we expect from him in the game. He's a party animal. We found out he likes going to warehouses and blowing his cash. What was your opinion on his characterization on this one?
Oh, it was a lot more in line with what I expected. I kind of forgot that in the game, the first time you see him, he just is kind of like an enemy, and he runs off. You don't really get the true Goro until he comes back, and it's just kind of strange for Ryo because he's like, I just kicked this guy's ass, and now he's back here like wanting to be my best friend. What's going on?
Oh yeah.
And I did want to show here. I brought it over. I talked about it on a few episodes ago. My custom-made Goro keychain, which was a like a vinyl toy with this triangle head.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, I'll give him like the pompadour, and he's got like the t-shirt design and everything. So Yeah, it goes to show you how much I liked Goro that I made like a weird vinyl toy of him like 15 years ago. But yeah, no, he was much more in line with what I expected. And he did talk about taking a leak. He didn't say take a leak, but I think he talks about peeing off of the harbor.
Yeah.
The pier.
So we got pee-pee talk. It's almost like they're like, all right, the pee-pee talk, we got to add that in.
Exactly.
They also showed more of Mia and Goro's relationship, which I think in the anime is totally different. She was more like a passive character that sold food, and you were supposed to convince them to be friends or like each other. Is that what it was in the game?
Right.
And in this one, they already have a relationship, and it kind of feels more of like a big sister and younger brother, where she's like smacking him all the time, and like belittling him a bit, you know. I kind of like this dynamic better than her just being like some like she was kind of like Nozomi. Like I feel like Yu Suzuki didn't understand how women acted, or maybe in Japan women don't have like an attitude or anything or a character. They just go like, whatever you want, sir, whatever you want. So yeah, what was your opinion on this?
I liked them having a little more of a dynamic relationship. I also liked really focusing on Goro's father, or lack of a father, and he's kind of like Ryo's fanboy who just wants him to succeed because he's like, he did what I could never do. He's a real man. Like,
you know,
I thought that was really cool.
They changed Goro's character in that aspect though, because he never talked about his father or family or any of that kind of stuff in the game. And I kind of like the idea that they're doing this whole like, Ryu didn't really know who his father was before, you know. He was a kid, and he didn't, like, all these other characters relate to him and his struggles with their father, because all these characters he runs into kind of have a weird relationship with their own father, you know what I mean? I thought that was an interesting way of tying them all in as a character, you know.
Right.
So why are they helping Ryu? Well, this is why. We got Mark. I don't want to say, that was his name, right? I want to be 100%
Yeah.
In the game, he was more supportive. In this one, he seems kind of off, like he doesn't really, very short, yes, boss, okay. And he does the bare basic, but opens up to Ryu after he's getting beat up by the Mad Angels, which kind of ties in Mad Angels with Ryu in this plot. What was your opinion on his characterization? His voice was definitely way deeper than I was in the English dub of the game.
Right. Well, and even in the Japanese dub, he speaks English. And so, yeah, it was kind of surprising to see him be much more Japanese speaking here. He was a lot more standoffish, not very friendly. Like, I really liked Mark in the game. I don't like him as much in the anime, but maybe my opinion will change if he comes back. But who knows? This could have been it for Mark, like him just revealing his little thing about his brother, and we don't get much more from him. You know, who knows?
He was interested in the video game. He had way more speeches and has always been more supportive of Ryu, it felt like. But yeah, he was totally different in this character. We got Shin again, and in this episode, he's like going against his father's wishes and helping Ryu, showing him a move at first, and then later on when we get to the Mad Angels, he gives him an ultimatum kind of a thing, which we might as well get to. Oh no! And then after this scene, we have another scene with Ryu and Nozomi, and this scene, it was more like them having a conversation that was real in the park. In the game, it was most like, oh, okay, you're gonna do this? All right, I have no opinion. On here, Ryu actually says he's sorry for making her worry. There's some sort of like, it actually feels like they have a relationship, and it's not this weird like, are they going to be a thing or aren't they going to be a thing in the game?
Right.
Yeah, so that was cool. You have anything to say about that little scene that they did?
It was nice.
All right. We got a picture of the friends, and I just added this in here to talk about because I actually like the friends that he has, at the fact that they're from the game, like they actually captured them in the anime, even though they were like really, really minor in the video game. Like you have to call them or whatever, and then like a cutscene will happen. Will they come over to your house? I thought it was cool that they're adding them on here. Hopefully they actually appear in an episode. It would be pretty cool if they're checking up on their friend. But I like those characters. I thought it was cool that they're adding them so far.
Yeah.
What do you think about the Mad Angels cronies here. Like, they showed an art style for them that it doesn't seem like anything from the actual game. It's like they've just created their own characters, which is fine. But like in the game, I don't know why, I don't want to be like, you know, stereotyping, but they look like what Japanese people thought bikers look like, kind of like they're wearing the leather jacket and they were like big. Yeah, and this one they're like Japanese Streets of Rage characters, kind of, right?
They look very weird. Some of them look like mutants, just like the way their faces are shaped and their hairstyles. It's bizarre. Some
of them are wearing like eyeliner too, so guyliner, sorry, not eyeliner. And then we finally got the whole thing. What's her name? Nozomi is asking about the Mad Angels for Ryu, so she gets trapped and kidnapped, which is kind of weird because I thought they were going to save this for the motorcycle rescue scene, that she gets kidnapped. Right. And now they did it before this whole thing happened, and then they did another fight. They basically told him you have to kill Chin, right? And then he has him show up and they fight, and obviously in the end it's like they tied and they're both fell down and got beaten up, and then like the Mad Angel guy Terry's like, now all of Azoka is mine, and I'm like, bro, there's no cops in this world. There's nothing else. Only these two guys in your way, man. If it was only two guys in your way of like owning the whole city port, just shoot them right here and put them in the ocean. I mean, let's be honest right here. Like, just get rid of them already. I mean, just two people. That's the only thing it takes for glory. Whew. But yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I noticed too they made a change with the bike. The bike was originally Ryo's friend Naoyuki's bike, and he went to go borrow it. But and here he just straight up steals it, right?
Yeah, and I think they're going to do that same scene with the whole bike and stuff later again, but like, I think it takes away a little bit of the power now that they already did the whole like, Nozomi's been kidnapped once, so if they do it again, and I've seen people post screenshots when they did the preview for the anime of them in the motorcycle together, so they're gonna do it, but I'm assuming maybe they'll do it in the beginning of the next episode, them coming home, when he rescues her.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm hoping they don't do another Nozomi kidnap plot, because you already spilled that egg. You can't do it twice in 13 episodes, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so we just ended with both of them on the floor. I thought the ending was a little cheesy, obviously. They wanted to do a cliffhanger where the viewer thinks they died, which, let's be honest, I don't think anyone believes these two guys kicked themselves really hard to death at the same time. Except for Terry from the Mad Angels, who does not seem to be that smart, to be honest with you.
Right.
And that was the end of the episode. Anything you want to add before we close it up?
It was just I think, better than average episode of the show. I absolutely loved seeing so much Goro. And I just hope things don't move too quickly. I hope we at least get to like a halfway point before we move on to Shenmue 2. I'd hate to see Shenmue 1 end in the next episode, but it's entirely likely it could, you know?
It could, yeah.
It could be. And then what? Like, what'll be the end credits? We won't have Nozomi anymore. What will it be?
Joy?
Maybe,
yeah. That's our after show for Shiri the Animation, episode 4. You guys could tell us what you guys thought about the episode in the comments below. If we made any mistakes, of course, we want to hear those too. Thank you guys for watching. We'll catch you on the next episode. Bye.
Bye.